Don't let us get hot.
Don't let us win this one.
Dude, put us away. Put us away. Do it.
Do it.
Just do it. I dare you. Do it. Do it. Dare it. I dare you.
Welcome back to another edition of Beyond the Diamond podcast here on the Apollo Podcast Network. Brian Lalima, Apollo Dez, producer Josh here with you. This is the recap of games 1 and 2 of the ALCS, and we will preview games 3, 4, and 5. All of our ALCS coverage is presented to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Dez, Josh, let's start with a recap on games 1 and 2. They lose 2-0. Game 1, Verlander pitched well, didn't get the job done offensively. Game 2, Fromber, it was terrible. Gives up 4 runs. Eventually, it was 5-2 at one point, 5-3. They got it to 5-4, but just not enough. They are down 2-0, headed back to Arlington.
Yeah, sucks. I'm officially to the internet saying I will not attend a playoff game at Minute Maid Park. I'm 0-3. It's a tough look for the brand. 0-3. But yeah, Justin Verlander, I think he pitched his ass off. I think it was very much his C+ stuff, and he just grinded to give you an opportunity. 6 2/3. Jordan Montgomery, tip your cap. He had the guys in the rocking chair. When you have a guy pitching like that, you have to get to him early, and they had opportunities. But the thing about baseball is it's very hard to string 3 hits together with 2 outs. And that was just the name of the game in game 1. I really thought anytime there was damage being done or a walk, it was with 2 outs and then a single and then and it was just the Astros are down 2-0. Yeah. We've been down like every scenario. I mean, it's kind of like beating a dead horse that every scenario we've been in. We've been up 2, we've been down 2, we've been split 1-1. I just feel like after the first 2 games, especially game 2, it just felt like we beat ourselves. And not to Jordan Montgomery shoved game 1. You got to tip your cap. They took that game. Game 2, the Rangers got to Framber. But other than that, the bullpen went 6 1/3 scoreless. The boys clawed away with solo shots. But you can go to the moment. You can't strand bases loaded, no outs. You got to execute. And with Yonder Diaz, Jose Altuve, and Alex Bregman being in that spot, you expect at least the score to be tied up in that situation. And look, baseball happens, and it didn't go our way, but it's a 7-game series, and it's a best of 7. Obviously, down 2-0 in the hole. It shifts to Arlington where the Astros play better, and I feel like the Astros may be favored by Vegas these next 3 games because you have Max Scherzer, who hasn't thrown in 2.5 months. Then you probably have a bullpen game with either Haney or Dane Dunning in game 4. And then game 5, anything can happen. So being at the games, it sucked. But I'm not worried. I'm concerned, but I'm not worried.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be here down 0-2, but the way they lost the games and how close they were, and a few things go the other way, and we're up 2-0. So, I mean, I think it's a shitty place to be, and it's obviously not what you want. But it's not like we got our ass kicked and everything just the sky is falling. Like, it's just 2 very tough losses. The Astros were 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. That 1 hit was to load the bases. The runner didn't even score. They got almost all their runs on solo home runs yesterday. I think it's just a combination of bad timing with hitting. It's not like they couldn't get hits at all. I mean, even against Jordan Montgomery, they had scattered hits. They just were bad timing. They weren't getting the hits when they needed them.
Yeah.
Obviously.
To also piggyback off that, Josh, like I think what we're used to seeing with this Astros team is the offensive lineup. They have no problem going, like right-handers have no problem going to the opposite field. I feel like they expanded their zone entirely too much, and they had bad at-bats. When you come up to the plate with bases loaded and no outs, you are expected to at least put the ball in play. You cannot strike out in that situation. Give us a sac fly. Hell, even in that situation.
Double play. Get the ball on the ground. Get the
Give us
ball
some
on the
I,
ground.
double
I
plays.
thought for sure in that inning, I was like, okay, at the very least, we get out of this with one run.
One run.
You know, we're down by 2 with like
Yes.
5 innings left. Like it's all good.
And you go back-to-back strikeouts from Yanier and Altuve, and then a ground out by Bregman with 2 outs. Like, that can't happen. You've got to get a run across the plate.
And then later in the game,
I do think you got to tip your cap to Nate Eovaldi bearing down as a pitcher and competing right there, facing those 3 guys, and he executed.
Did you see his ERA with runners in scoring position?
I did not.
It's a sub 2.
I told you guys. I told you on the pod. I'm a Nate. Any Texas born pitcher in the playoffs, you get like plus 10 attributes. You just do. And he's the second son of Alvin. I know he's always been in the Nolan Ryan like shadow, and that's not fair. But Nate, he dug down deep and executed, and that's what our starting pitcher didn't do.
Yeah, and there was another. I think Josh, you were going to talk about where Michael Brantley hits a double, scores Jordan, and then Chaz comes up with runners on first and second, and swings it. Splitter, not even close to the zone.
Yeah.
I mean, just a really, really bad at bat. And he owned it after the game. He said, I'm out there swinging at fucking balls. Word for it, he said, I'm swinging at fucking balls.
Well, I think where it comes to the approach is everything. The other team had the better approach, pitching and hitting. Our approach was lacking. And I think the main thing was, like at one point, I think it was Leclerc was it Leclerc? It was one of the guys. He walked like 2 straight guys.
Leclerc.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
like
it was
9
Chaz.
straight balls.
Yeah. And then he threw 2 more balls.
Yeah.
And then Chaz or whoever it was swung at three in a row. And I'm like, he can't throw strikes. You got to take it till a strike there. You cannot swing at what would have been ball 3 and ball 4, what could load the bases.
Yeah, and I think Chaz owning it at his locker speaks very highly of him.
Yeah.
But it does seem on the execution side of things that we were pressing a bit.
Yes.
It seemed like, and the easiest way to we're not like reinventing the wheel here. We're gonna, when players start expanding their zone and swinging at shit, you could tell they're pressing. So I something about this team on the road, that's what gives me the warm and fuzzies, where I left Minute Maid Park yesterday and I'm walking back to the office and I'm just like, I'm not worried. The series is going to come back to Houston. They're going to have to execute back in Houston, but I didn't feel any worry in the world. And it's kind of crazy because I do feel like the Rangers have one game in them where their offense is going to put up a ton of runs. And the Astros offense needs to be able to compete in that game because this Rangers offense can put 7, 8, 9 on the board. And if you do that when you're up 2-0 or 2-1, whatever it is, the series changes dramatically and drastically. Yeah. So, and also just shout out the bullpen. 6 1/3. JP France let his nuts hang, man. That was awesome. That was big time pitching.
I mean exactly what you're talking about. That Rangers offense is deadly, and the fact that outside of Framber, our pitching did amazing. You know, Justin gave up 2 runs, but he had 6 2/3, 2 runs. You take that any day. Yeah. I mean, outside of Framber, our pitching has been lights out. So obviously, we have the right game plan there. Just bad execution on Framber's part.
Yeah, I think, and that's something I want to hit on real quick before we get to our Sweet Green Health Report. Framber Valdez has not pitched well as of late. Did not pitch well against Minnesota, and we saw what happened in game number 2.
5 ERA since the All-Star break.
You take the no-hitter out, that thing's north of 7.5, I bet.
What was the ERA you just said, Josh?
4.96 ERA since the All-Star break.
So take the no-hitter out, and that goes up, right? So in the postseason so far, 2 outings, he's got an ERA over 10, and he can't get through the 4th inning.
This is where I go to that, and this is just us talking amongst no one. He had that rolled his ankle right before that start against the before the All-Star break. He missed the start, and then he came back right.
Didn't pitch in the All-Star game.
And then they didn't give him that All-Star game nod, which to everyone in the world it made sense, but Framber was very upset about that.
Yeah, he was publicly upset about that, which was interesting.
He didn't even go. He didn't even go to the All-Star game.
Right. I guess what I was going to say is my point was, and like everything you're saying, like I get, right? And we've talked about it before, but dude, that outing from him and both his outing, like that can't happen from your ace.
No,
it just can't. Like Bregman said it the other day, you can't make excuses. We're in October, and this bothered me a little bit, and I talked about it briefly on the radio this morning, and I have a quote from him, and I wanted to get it right, so I pulled it up. After the game, he said, quote, "I think the quality of my pitches were good. I think they maybe got a little lucky. There were a couple of balls that they didn't hit well that fell for base hits. I tried to go as far as I could," end quote. To me, and you guys can give me your opinion on this, but to me, dude, hold some accountability, take the L and move on. Like they got lucky, sure, but that's baseball. They had some soft contact, and then you got a chopper right back up to you off of the bat of Robbie Grossman. You boot it, and then you still had plenty of time, and you airmail it into right field, and then you give up 3 more runs after that. Dude, he did not look good from the first at-bat to his last at-bat. I didn't like that quote. Take some accountability like Chaz did and move on. Dude, you haven't pitched well. And he's the ace. He's been the ace all season long, even now after they acquired Justin Verlander. And Justin Verlander is the game 1 starter for both series, and he's pitched well both series. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with Framber. You can go back to before the All-Star break. He was still pitching pretty well. And then the rolled ankle, I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but pretty much since the no-hitter, up and down Dow Jones effect, man. Just what Framber, we always say, what Christian Javier are we going to get?
Well, I think Framber's issue has always been like a mental. Like it's always been here, which is why that psychologist helped him a whole bunch. But I think he's kind of fallen back in that old Framber mentality.
This will be the last thing, and I was talking with someone at the game, someone that's very highly renowned, and he said the thing with Framber Valdez is this: teams, and especially the Rangers, are going to make him execute his sinker and fastball, throw for strikes low in the zone.
Yeah.
If he's not throwing that sinker low in the zone, they're going to spit on the curveball and they're going to spit on the slider because everything's down in the zone. If he can't locate that fastball down, they're just going to wait till that fastball up. And if you go back and look at that first inning, knowing that now, and you look at those pitches, they spit on everything down because he wasn't executing with his sinker down. And they just waited for a ball up. They didn't do and like we talked about, it wasn't hard hits. The exit velo was probably 90 on average across all those. But okay, fastball up and away, they took it away. Fastball up and in, they got it through the gloves and through, and that's baseball. But if someone up in the stands knows that's what the game plan is, certainly the Astros in the front office knows that, like, hey, this is what needs to be fixed, and Framber needs to fix that.
Yeah.
And let me ask you all.
It goes back into what we said. It's lack of execution on the mound and at the plate.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do y'all? So would y'all? If it was up to y'all, would he pitch again this series?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Short leash, but you have to.
Yeah. It's one of those things where he would be in Game 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you go. It's just you have him go. You have him on a short leash. You got JP France or Hunter Brown ready to go.
100%.
Depending on how Hunter Brown is pitched and utilized for the rest of the series. But JP France has got to be ready to go. Like, there's no question. And honestly, and I'm not going to sit here and nitpick Dusty Baker for not pulling him, but you could have made a case. We were talking about it in our group text, like, no one's warming yet. What is it like?
Barry felt like trying to steal some more outs.
I get that.
Which I don't think the Astros need to do. I mean, they have 2 starters in their bullpen that are stretched out as starters. I don't think you need to worry about, like, if your starter's struggling, especially now that you're down 2-0, like, you have to.
Yeah.
Your starter's struggling.
Yeah,
get him out.
It drastically changes it now.
Yeah, and again, I'm not trying to nitpick or anything, but you could have made a case, hey, get JP up earlier or Montero, whoever you wanted to go for. But again, we don't want to sit here and dwell on it too much. Look, those games are over. They're down 2 games. They're going on the road to Arlington. You've got Christian Javier on the mound. So before we get to those previews, Dez, I know we got our Sweet Green Health Report. So let's get to that.
Yeah.
Sweet Green Health Report.
Sweet Green Health Report. My son, Jordan Alvarez, had the bubble guts and the flu. And then proceeded to hit 2 tanks and has 6 home runs in 6 games, where one of the games he was over. It's next time I get the flu, I want that flu. That's the flu I want. I want that influenza strand because
But really, what is sick?
what is sick?
What is a virus?
I
We all got
I
viruses, man.
I
Hey,
felt
man.
I felt like I was in philosophy class in college with Dusty answering those questions. What is sick? But yeah,
Man goes to work.
I am kind of worried. I mean, if one player has a virus, it's probably in the locker room. So let's get some IVs in the boys. Let's make sure we're. I mean, maybe we all need the bubble guts. Maybe we all need to be concerned about breathing the wrong way, and we can only hit home runs. I don't know, but apparently,
So what we need to do is get them IVs and get them some Sweet Green.
some Sweet Green. Oh, there you go. What a plug.
All I know is Sweet Green slaps.
Yeah.
So good, dude.
What'd you get? What was the last bowl you got?
I got the hot honey chicken.
Oh yeah.
Woo, buddy.
That one does it.
I'll tell you what, and there's the Sweet Green 2 blocks from my house, and it's crazy because I pass it every day and didn't even know it until a couple of weeks ago, and now I'm like, I think I had it like 3 times in 1 week. That first week I had it.
It's good.
And,
it's good.
Pretty good. If you haven't had Sweet Green yet, you're missing out. Head over to Sweet Green. That's our Sweet Green health report.
Yeah, and shout out to other sponsors for the episode: Big City Wings, Houston's Wing Joint, Apollo's Wing Joint. We may be out there for one of the games. I don't know yet. Trying to wait from Sam. Shout out Celebrity Mint. Follow them at the Celebrity Mint. They are live with all their products from Comic Con. Go get those gold and silver trading cards. And Zing Zang. Zang responsibly. Blazing Zing Zang. Mix pre-made with the vodka already in it. So spice up your Sunday mornings and Zang responsibly. Let's jump into games 3 and 4. I'm not even focused on game 5. Okay,
Sure.
I'm only focused actually on game 3 and winning. I mean, you know what? I'm only focused on the next inning and the next pitch. You got to win each one.
Go 1-0.
Go 1-0. It's Scherzer versus Christian Javier. Scherzer hasn't pitched in 2 months, roughly, ballparky.
It was that first series against his last start was against us, right? That JV versus Scherzer game.
Hold on,
early
guys.
September.
Don't worry, guys. I'll fact check.
The other side of it is, look, Scherzer's a dog. He's gonna be up there cussing and trying to throw 100, grunting. You got to make him. You got to make him work. You got to make him use a lot of pitches.
September 12th was his last outing against the Toronto Blue Jays. He went 5 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 2 Ks.
So a month and a week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Got to make him work.
So once again, the Astros season comes down to a Javier swing game.
Yeah.
It's
poetic.
That's how it's been all year.
It's gonna be rowdy. 2-0. And sure, Mad Max on the mound. Look,
that place is gonna be jumping.
Get him out by the 4th. The Astros win this game.
I agree.
I said it this morning. The game plan to attack Max Scherzer, and I'll say it again tomorrow morning when we talk about Astros on the radio, is attack him early. Get 3 runs early, 4 runs early. Get the pitch count out and get him out by the 4th. I literally said the same thing. Get him out early. Get the pitch count up to 70 pitches in 3 innings and utilize going against that bullpen, man.
Yeah, I did. I want to get your thoughts going in game 3. Dusty today talked about, and today is the 17th of October. He talked about potentially moving Tucker down. Tucker's going through it. He switched the batting gloves, took the batting gloves off. He looks tired. He looks gassed. He really does. Yeah. Like that swing looks like it's going through some molasses right now. You could read the label, and if you play this sport, you're watching, it happens. Like it's just everything feels good. It's just you don't have the bat speed, and if you don't have the bat speed, you're not going to be able to touch major league pitching. And so they try to jumpstart him by putting him in the 3-hole, I think, to protect him, give him some fastballs. But
to be fair, he hit 2 balls over 100 miles an hour yesterday.
No, he did.
He can't even. I mean, he's batting 0.91 in the playoffs. He's got an on-base percentage of 200. He can't even work a walk, man. He's just really.
That's the main thing.
Really
I think
through it.
Yeah, I think just timing is lost because he's not even working walk. Because usually when he slumps, he at least he'll go 0 for 3, but with like a walk or 2. But now he's not even walking.
I mean, you could put him in the Castellanos row. The Phillies have put Nick all the way down the bottom of the lineup, batting 7th, and and Castellanos is hitting nothing but home runs. And so,
Yeah.
look,
I wouldn't mind that with
October. You got to execute. You got to play your guys.
how the bottom of our order has been hitting. I mean, our bottom of the order, both games were getting on base, but then nobody was there to drive them in. So I mean,
I'm doing this. This is what I'm rolling out game 3. Altuve, Brantley,
Yeah.
Bregman, Jordan. I need if Jordan's going to be hitting,
we need somebody to get on.
You need some guys on, and you gotta have Brantley and Breggs are going to be able to work some counts.
Yeah,
and now we're putting some strain on those first innings. I think we got to optimize that. I really do.
The Astros this postseason are 1-3 when the other team scores first, and 3-0 when they score first.
When it comes to Michael Brantley, I don't care if it's a lefty, a righty, or somebody that's ambidextrous. He has to be in the lineup for the rest of the series. I don't give a shit, dude. He's got to be there. He's got to be there.
Unless he pulls himself.
What's that?
Unless he pulls himself.
Exactly. But he said it on record to reporters, I'm 100% healthy and I'm ready to go. However the team needs me, I'm ready to go 100%.
Yeah,
so
put him in that 2-hole.
To me, that is he's 100% ready to go. Put me in the fucking lineup.
Yeah.
So whatever, wherever, he's just got to be in the lineup. And for me, I'm with you guys, Altuve, Brantley. I originally thought maybe get Jordan in the third spot so he hits in the first inning. But then I was on the same page with you. What you just said, Dez, is Bregman is notorious for having the best eye in baseball. He works a lot of counts, and if he even slumps at the plate, he still gets on base. And then Brantley is going to work counts, and he's going to get on base. So, yeah, it makes sense to have him in the 4-hole. And then move Kyle Tucker down. Shit, bat him in the 7th hole, 8th hole.
Yeah.
I don't care. Down somewhere down there. So
I think, and also that kind of falls into Dusty's philosophy of right, left, right, left.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be, I think that optimizes and really stretches this line. And it's crazy because being down 2-0, going back to Texas, you should be more concerned. But you just got to give this team the benefit of the doubt until they're dethroned.
Yeah.
And they went on the road. They've been doing all this stuff, and that could flip. But this team's not going to go quietly in the good night. I mean, they could lose the next 2 games, and it could be 1-0 or 10-9, but they're not going to go down without fighting. And I think we saw that it was very easy yesterday in a 7-game series, down 5-0 to just fold it in. Yeah. And they called it back. And obviously we didn't execute on some of those other opportunities, but they put themselves in a spot to win that and steal that ball game. And you got to think all the pressure in the world is on the Rangers right now. All the pressure of them is to close this out. And we know what this
they don't want to
Rangers
go back
team,
to Houston.
They don't want to go back to Houston. If this comes back to Houston, they are in full panic mode. They're going to be the ones pressing. So they have an opportunity, I think, in front of their crowds to go to the World Series, and that's a lot of pressure. And you have an opportunity. The Astros are going to play freed up and freely, and that's when this team is dangerous and fun. It really is.
Well, they've always been best with their back against the wall. I mean, 2019 World Series, lost the first 2 games at home.
First 2.
Won all 3 in Washington, and then we won't talk about what happened later. But, it is possible. It's happened, and this team can do it for sure.
Yeah, and I think it all starts in Game 3. Like Dez said, and Josh, you said as well, like, we're not even worried about Games 4 and 5. Go win Game 3. Get on Scherzer early, and you have to have a good start from Christian Javier. Get through 6. Get through 6. Minimize the walk. He pitched well against Minnesota. The only problem was he walked 5 guys. You can't walk 5 of these Texas Rangers. Their hitters are too damn good.
Yeah, I think Corey Seager is going to be the catalyst in this Game 3. He already had a game this postseason where he walked 5 times.
I think it's Evan Carter still. I think Evan Carter's playing young and dumb, has no idea the moment that he's in right now. I think Evan Carter's a legitimate problem. The way he works counts, the kid's out there just having fun. That's my guy that I don't want the Astros to let them beat. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah. And what he did in Game 1, I was like, who's
Hustle? That's just hustle.
Who the fuck is Evan Carter?
It was just
Yeah.
hustle.
Yeah, hustle's free, baby, and that's what we saw from him, stretching that single into a double, playing hella good defense out in left field, and I mean he played well, and yeah, I'm with you, man. He's young, talented, really has no idea what he's doing. Like, meaning he doesn't know what the moment is right now because he's just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, just fucking grinding out at bats and playing really good defense and hustling his ass off. So hats off to him, man. Like that's
Yeah.
a weapon for the Rangers.
I'm sitting here watching the Phillies D-backs game, and I saw something, and I didn't really believe it, but I did like fact check it, that it's been like 15 years between the LCS appearances for Evan Longoria, like in his career.
That's it, really?
Yeah, from the Rays to now. And I think as fans and as people watching this, as baseball fans, you just got to appreciate where you are, because you would think it like Evan Longoria was in multiple league championship series, but he's been in 2, and they were like 15 years apart or 12 years apart, whatever it was. It was over 10 plus years apart.
Wow.
Like, you don't take this for granted. And as fans watching this and tuning in and consuming content, like, you just got to appreciate where you are. Yeah, you're down 2-0, but you shouldn't be worried. We're not playing the game. We're the ones watching. We're the ones living and dying with it. We're not the ones playing out there. So I think it's, as a baseball fan, like, I'm just really soaking this in, because I don't want to wait 15 years for another league championship series. Like, these guys are out there just competing their asses off. So I think the Astros are going to do what they do best, and that's going to execute on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all starts in Game 3.
Yep.
So
Got to
focus on
take
Game 3, then go to Game 4. It's Urquidy Game 4, right?
It'll be, yeah. Urquidy's probably going to have Game 4. And I think
Maybe-
they'll go Dane Dunning or Andrew Haney.
It'll be a bullpen game for them,
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah.
Games
And
3 and 4 are takeable.
yeah, you take those two. It's a best of 3 series.
Yeah.
And you got to like those odds, but you got to execute and win Game 3 first.
Yeah, you even the series out, and then, like you said, it becomes the best of Game 3. Anything can happen. And then you get it back to Houston, and look, we can sit here and talk about the 39-42 record for them during the regular season. We can talk about the batter's eye. We can talk about lack of execution. When you get it back to here for Game 6 and 7, anything can happen, right? So, just I think another thing is to focus on get it back here.
Yeah,
get it back to Houston.
Well, I think if you just scrap the first 2 games, you just look at this 3-game set. You have a Javier that's rounding into form. You have your playoff Urquidy, and you have Justin Verlander. You have to feel good.
Yeah.
You have to feel good about your opportunity to compete. I'm not saying those are guaranteed wins. That's not how baseball works. But it's not. You're not trotting out a bullpen game, or you're not doing these other things where you're pressing. You have your dudes, and you're going to live and die by your dudes.
Yeah.
And you take that.
Absolutely. All right. Well, yeah, that's our preview for our recap of Game 1 and 2, and our preview for Games 3, 4, and 5. Thank you for watching and listening to Beyond the Diamond
Win
podcast.
Game 3. Just win.
Gotta go win Game 3.
Don't let us get hot.
Don't let us win this one,
dude. Put us away. Put us away. Do it.
Do it.
Just do it. I dare you. Do it. Do it. Dare it. I dare you.
Yeah, no.
That's going to do it for the podcast. I'm Josh. That's Dez and Brian, and we will see you next time.
Peace.
Love you guys. I double dog dare you. I double dog dare you. Do it.
I triple dog dare ya.